As we've mentioned before in other lessons, an interview is akin to a sales call. Therefore, the obstacles a candidate might face during a job interview will mirror those encountered by a salesperson in a sales call. The ability to overcome objections may come naturally to some, but for others, it will require a bit of preparation to be ready to deal with the concerns employers face. We live in an extremely litigious society, and employers are very aware of that fact. They are highly unlikely to bring up anything they don't like about you that will result in a lawsuit, so you will never hear about you being in a protected class, for instance. In fact, some employers will even tell you they cannot share any objections, even if you ask about them directly. For the companies that can share their concerns with you, they may still be reluctant. This hesitation may stem from the fact that most people simply don't like confrontation. If they don't share any objections, there's no reason to push. You've received your answer, and you can move on to the close. Have you ever walked out of an interview and felt that you nailed it? You just waited for your phone to ring with an offer that never came. We've all been there. While you may have lost the opportunity for any number of reasons, wouldn't you have loved to have known what a potential employer was hesitant about? Knowing the objections employers have about you gives you the opportunity to address them then and there, while they're fresh in their minds. It also allows you to learn more about how others see you in an interview setting, so you can improve your techniques moving forward. Plus, when you know what objections you face, you can go the extra step and discuss them in your follow-up by sending additional information or even references who can speak to your ability to overcome an employer's hesitation about you and your candidacy. When it comes to the objections that you may have to overcome on the way to closing the interview, there's what employers will say, but there's also what they really mean. In some cases, it's your job to dig deeper and find out if the stated objection is the true objection. Sometimes it is, many times it isn't. Remember that you secured a job interview, so they were interested enough to call you, and you probably got through the phone screen, which means you've passed the initial hurdles. Many other applicants didn't. If you can understand and overcome objections with panache, you'll be on your way to the offer. Here are some of the most common objections you'll hear during an interview and what they're really saying. Review the written lessons for examples of what to say in each instance. Getting that first position is always a challenge. Likewise, so is changing directions in your trajectory mid-career. Whether you're looking for a step up in your career or you want to add to your knowledge base, an employer may voice concerns about your lack of experience. The real issue here might be as simple as the fact that an employer doesn't have the resources to train someone, and they want to be able to hire a new person who's ready to take the reins and move forward. Another concern is that an employer is investing time and energy into your training only to have you move on. After all, it can cost nearly $2,000 to bring on a new employee, and if you leave within a year or two, that's money wasted. Once you get to a certain age or have more than 10 years highlighted on your resume, you start to creep into the overqualified realm for some positions. Sometimes, this fear is justified, especially in an economic downturn when the older workforce has been let go, forcing them to look for a new position. There could be several issues at play here. Perhaps they think you'll be bored if you have too much experience and the job isn't challenging enough. It might be that they think you're not coachable because you've been doing this so long. They could be concerned you'll want more money or benefits than they're willing to provide. Or they may fear that with your experience, which usually is attached to an older candidate, you won't fit in with their younger demographic, whether that's other employees or their clients and customers. This is especially true if the person interviewing you is younger than you are. Salary is always a talking point on the way to securing a job offer. It could come up early on, during a phone screen, or it may not be discussed until a few interviews in. Be sure to review our lesson on salary negotiations to get a better handle on how to overcome objections around pay and benefits. Often, the concern an employer has is that you need a new job, so you're taking anything that's offered. Meanwhile, since they're not paying what you need to earn, you'll keep looking until you find something that does. This is especially true when you are looking for a position while you're unemployed. Job jumpers are people who have tenures of 1 to 3 years in their past. If you've had more than 5 jobs in the last 10 years, you might need to be ready to overcome objections related to your loyalty and ability to stick around for a while. There's not a lot hidden behind this objection. If they're blatant enough to say they don't think you'll stick around, take them at their word. Fit is a key determiner in whether or not an employer will extend you an offer. Even if you are technically capable of doing the job, fit is more about your soft skills, including communication, collaboration, and leadership. Employers also want to be sure you embody the corporate culture. Finding new employees can be an arduous task. It takes time and money to review resumes, meet with candidates, and determine to whom an offer should be extended. Although most companies are looking to fill positions quickly, more and more are focused on filling them with the right people. They need confirmation that you're going to work well with what they have already established. A formula to develop your answers will help tremendously as you strive to overcome objections in a job interview. First, though, remember to ask if they have any objections. Once they share any objections, the formula to overcome them is a simple 3 steps. Follow along with a written lesson for examples of what to say at each step. First, you must acknowledge the concern the interviewer has. Don't poo-poo it or ignore it altogether. They've addressed it because it's an issue that's blocking them from making you an offer, so give it the importance it deserves. Asking them for specifics allows you to get to the heart of the matter. By digging a little deeper, while acknowledging that you hear them and understand their concerns, you push the conversation forward and can address their true points to overcome objections. If an employer knows that you don't have the experience they're seeking, you probably know it too. You could have worked in project management for the past decade, but you may have never worked on the types of projects this company does. Or you may not have experience using the software they use. Once you have acknowledged the objection, you can agree that it may be an issue, but you have a solution to relieve their worries. This will diffuse the objection and transform it into an opportunity. You may think that you have overcome objections in your response, but assuming is never a good thing to do in an interview. That's why you need to confirm that you have effectively addressed the objection and given a solution. To do that, it's as simple as asking if you've addressed their concerns. If they say no, circle back around to ensure that you do. Closing the interview. Every interview is a key to moving on to the next step in the process. Whether this is your first interview or 10th, you still need to close. Since an interview is like a sales call, similar approaches can be used. Your goal here is to keep highlighting the fact that you are the best candidate for the job. Ride the line between being overly aggressive about it, though you don't want to turn them off because you're too in their face. Interviews are often the last step on your journey to obtaining a job offer, and as such, they're extremely important. It's vital that you use this opportunity to overcome objections the committee has, and you must close with each member of the committee and at each interview. Use the formulas we've shared for how to overcome objections as well as how to close the interview, and be sure to refer to the written lesson for examples. When you do this each and every time and with each and every person you meet, the likelihood is that you'll be on your way to a new job in no time.